presto. Let's get it. Look, I got family that ain't blood. The struggle is all relation. A different life for all of us. Give me the motivation to get up and
music and sound is just frequency.
Right.
So like all of those notes that they're hitting in different octaves are just like music. There's this whole thing, music theory. I've never really gotten deep into music theory, but once you understand music theory, you can basically play any instrument because the instrument is just based on sound. So when you're able to understand the difference in the sounds, you can just hear what you should be playing.
What if a different, like, obviously the sounds, but isn't there, like, I know just from like the violin to the guitar, everything, like the strings may be the same, but they're different.
It's all
like,
the same notes. Like that's the thing. Like
okay,
everything is based on the
right.
same scale of notes and octaves,
Interesting.
and the reason being is because it's the sounds of nature. Like everything you hear right now is
Just
in
a
some key,
decibel, kinda?
Yeah, it's in some key. You just have no idea. There's people with perfect pitch. You know, God damn, what's that piano player's name? It's like a young guy, mad good. Not John Legend. Charlie Puth.
Yeah, I did.
He is perfect pitch.
He's on a
There's
lot
this
of
thing called
songs.
perfect pitch that people are born with or they learn over time, and you can do anything. Like you can do this, and he can name that key.
That's
note
disgusting.
and everything. He can name everything about it, like what key
Like
it
me
is, what
hitting
note, what octave.
like that.
Yeah, that he usually does it with like glasses and shit.
That sounds pretty.
He'd be like,
like-
that's like A minor, and then you'd be like, and then you flick another button, he's like, that's G.
Fuck that. That's
it's
wild.
It's crazy, but I honestly think it actually kind of goes back to what I was saying last night about like the psychedelics and just like the energy that is able to be felt through psychedelics, and also the energy that we feel on a human connection basis, because it's all based on that. Actually, like just when you heard that note and you get the goosebumps, it's like you're not getting the goosebumps because you thought he was really good or whatever. It's just because like it resonated with some energy in your body that exists.
Right, like why that one, like, so basically if he played through 7 different notes, why was it on the 2 notes I got goosebumps?
Exactly.
And it's like what I was saying before, you know, when I was younger and I listened to all these songs that were just not good for like your mental health, not good for your productivity. And now I'm listening to a lot more easygoing songs, a lot more like relaxed songs.
Yeah.
And I noticed like I could mentally think a lot more about things. And it's not that I'm like, I don't like rap anymore. I don't like drill as much as I used to, but certain types of music definitely put me in a certain type of mood. So like if I'm going to the gym, I'll throw on some drill. If I'm driving in the car in the morning, maybe not. Like I'm trying to keep the day,
Yeah.
you know, a little calmer.
Which is interesting.
It's-
Like a lot of people, I know something that Goggins said once, like he doesn't listen to music at the gym because music gets you in a mood
Right.
and has the ability to affect your mood. It's harder to work out when you don't listen to music. So like, that's his challenge to himself. And that's with everything, I guess. But music, that's why I love music so much. And I think it's so special to like the world, because like it can change things. Like
Right.
it could genuinely change how you think about things. Why? I don't think it has anything to do with the lyrics.
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
no, sometimes.
Go shoot the
100%.
motherfucker in the... yeah,
But
yeah.
had like a Noah Kahn song that like really resonates with me, like had he not said the words he said, or he said different words to the same tune, I'd probably have the same feeling, just because the way he's singing it to the beat, to the music. It's just like,
It's kind of what we say with like conversations too, right? Like you and me we could both say the exact same thing to someone, but they take it a different way, just off our tones, or
Yeah.
just off like how
or
we're
you could say
presenting
something
it.
two totally different ways and somebody just receives it the same, because it's just the energy of how you receive things through your body. I think everybody has a different energy built within them, like, and it goes with grounding. Like grounding, sure enough, if that's all true and like has to do with each other, yeah, grounding has to do with it because it affects your physical body.
Right.
Standing on the sand, standing like,
I mean, yeah, just I can tell you right now, like when we go out there barefoot on the sand, we're looking at the water, your problems disappear.
Yeah,
like it's,
literally.
you know, when me and Joey hiked the mountain, shout out Joey, guy gets me on my shit. We were up at Bear Mountain and we're sitting on the rocks and we're doing push-ups on top of the mountain, and then like the things you're thinking of in those moments are just obsolete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think one of the most calming things for me at the beach, like besides just like being connected with nature, is looking out at the ocean and just taking in the vast amount of water and power behind it, it's like unmatched. Like you feel very unmatched when you're a human just sitting on the sand and there's a 70% of the earth sitting in front of you and you can't do anything about it. Like, I don't know. There's something about it. Like, God forbid you're
humbling,
miles
bro.
out there, you're dead. It's so humbling.
Humbling is like the best way to describe
Yeah.
it. Like when I was up skydiving and you get that perspective on the world, it really puts a lot of things into the perspective. I hate to say that twice, but you could look on Google Maps and zoom out and see the earth and scroll it, and everyone knows the earth is, what it is. And some people are like, it's just a dust floating through space. Some people see it as like the biggest thing ever. But dude, when you're up and looking at the sky and you look down from 15,000 feet and you're about to jump out of a fucking plane, you don't think of anything but jumping out of a plane, and everyone above you just looks, you can't even see people. It's just dots moving. Like it looks like ants in a box.
Yeah.
Like imagine you held the box of ants like this and looked at them running around. That's me in the plane.
Right, yeah.
And then I jump, and then as you're jumping, the perspective is just at the speed of light changing. It's just boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, 2 minutes later, you're back on the earth again, talking to people, very close interactions. Like the anxiety in my conversations went down. All these things went down. Like the little tics I had, like just not from lifting the fear of skydiving, but just getting the perspective from being that high up on the world.
I think it's like experiencing in whatever way it be, what the earth is naturally, whether it's like providing us or what the earth's just built of and like what it does. And like we just like you're experiencing going through the air, like it's the same thing as the ocean. Like you just like no match against all the things. And if you turn around right from the beach and you see a giant skyscraper, when you look at a really tall skyscraper, like it's amazing. It's like, damn, like how did they build that? Like that's actually crazy. But you do not get the same feeling you get when you look at the ocean. You're like, whoa. Or you're jumping out of a plane and like the whole air,
natural
the
phenomenon.
whole earth is around you.
Yeah, right.
And you're not touching anything. It's like, whoa.
Like when we were in,
and the skyscraper that is amazing on the ground looks like an ant again. Like
dude, but like when we were in Italy, the architecture, or anywhere in Europe really, but that architecture specifically in Rome is breathtaking. You've never.
I would love to see that shit.
Dude,
Everybody
you have to.
says that.
It's. I was standing in front of the basilica, and I was shocked. Like it's almost like there was no words I could express. I had like feelings going through my body, like just the chills, like the whole time. And I can imagine that's impressive to me, but what's more impressive is, like you said, the natural phenomena of like, wait, you're telling me a hurricane could just take that building out?
Yeah.
You're telling me one wave, a tsunami could just take out half this town?
Yeah, it doesn't
like
care how long that building stood there.
Oh my
it does
God.
not give a fuck.
No, it does. And Mother Nature does not care about your feelings. You need to care about hers.
That's what a lot of people say about hunting. Like when you go hunting and you're out in the woods and you're just like facing the elements, like you realize that like people have the connotation that like killing an animal is bad, but like when you're out there and it's
you killed 2 fish yesterday.
Hard. I did kill 2 fish yesterday. Innocent.
An accident.
Yeah. But like when you're out there and you really just like you really understand what it means to be an animal almost. You're like, oh, this is
like that primal
like
connection.
This is hard life. Like me hunting this animal is the same thing as that animal hunting me.
Right.
In a sense. Like people would argue that because move off that screen a little bit so it doesn't puncture a hole.
It doesn't break. Good.
Yeah. But yeah,
I think people not to cut you off. I think with that primal stuff you said, it doesn't need to always be the extreme of two. Like when we say like connect with your primal energy and try to like, really find like your true meaning to this world. And it's not sitting on your phone scrolling through TikTok. It's not, going to your job and making $100K a year. And that doesn't always mean you have to go hunt in the woods and skin an animal to find your primal instinct. No, it's taking your shoes off and walking through the grass. Go to the beach, lay down on the beach for a little bit. Like instead of buying fruits and vegetables all the time, start growing them a little bit. Try it out. Why not? Right? Like, is it that hard? A lot of times
those extreme examples of doing that comes from starting with that. You're like, oh wow, like this sand feels pretty good on my feet. It's like, what if I just ran 3 miles on the beach every day?
Exactly.
And then you're doing like beach runs.
Oh my God.
Like, okay.
Why is it? You said extreme too. I hate how the word extreme is used, especially for things that are so archaic. Like we've gotten here through hunting and gathering.
That's
like we said the other day. Back in the day, you'd go fish, you'd bring it home, everyone's happy, you eat it, you cook it, you feed the family, boom. Now we go fish. We're getting asked if we have a license.
Yeah.
If we don't have a license, you get ticketed. If you don't have the right equipment, you get in trouble. Just for a fish, like just for the simple concept of like going to catch one fish, coming home and eating it, which is literally a meal, that is a crime if you do it incorrectly now.
Meanwhile, there's corporations that have a license and are able to kill millions of fish by
Inhumanely.
the second inhumanely.
Just throwing,
Yeah.
you've seen The Deadliest Catch Ever?
Yeah.
You ever watch that
Yeah,
for real?
yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
oh my God. That show is unreal.
That
Those
shit
guys
is
are throwing
crazy.
fucking cages the size of this room in the water, pulling them up. There's hundreds of fish, thousands of fish, and it doesn't seem, obviously it's what you need to do to feed a lot of people, but it's kind of one of those things of like, how is this legal?
Yeah, right.
And how is like whale hunting legal?
Yeah.
But how is me fishing off the bay right here? How is that illegal?
Yeah.
That doesn't really add up well to me. And
Yeah, I
It's-
don't get it. Because everything's food. Like, nature is nature. Everything should be ours.
it's all control, really.
Everybody
like, if we're growing-
everything.
If we're growing the stuff and like everyone becomes self-sufficient, so say everyone tomorrow, God forbid, everyone just had their own gardens, all self-sufficient gardens that could run themselves,
Yeah.
which is not a common sense thing, but gardens can run themselves. Everyone switched to renewable energy for their own house, water systems, things like that. Like everyone just doesn't need. We don't need your electric anymore. We don't need to go grocery shopping to get your produce. I have that. I have my electric. We have well water. We have natural filtered drinking water. Like
Yeah.
then they're like, wait, you don't need us anymore?
Yeah.
That's illegal. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It's like just because you don't rely on them makes it illegal or against. I guess if you're just against what someone's going against, that's kind of
Yeah.
like most things in life,
And where did that all start? I guess that all starts with like the idea of just money, but before that is organization. Like the idea of like, let's have some people do the fishing, some people do the gardening, let them own that and provide the rest of the community. And then the rest of the I guess what it originally was if you provide a service, I provide my service.
It was a barter.
Yeah, it's
It was a
basically
barter.
system, and then you form a community based on that.
Right. And then currency
And then currency was
gets
introduced,
involved, and that's
yeah.
when it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And currency
And now-
was great when it first started, but now it's a thing where it doesn't mean anything. So now it's just,
Yeah.
it's,
And now you have
There's no
very
trade.
few people in control and 99% of people with no control.
Right.
At all.
you saw the aisles in the grocery store. I mean, it looked like a rainbow. And the one
It was
fucking-
crazy. I never really thought about it until we were there yesterday, and like,
I was like, would you eat anything out of here? This box is pink. This box is purple. This box
Yeah.
is blue. Like that, none of that. And like I said, this box. Like most of the time, if you're eating something out of a box or a fucking
yeah.
plastic wrap thing, it's like, yeah, it can be healthy, but is it healthier than just your apple
Yeah.
or just a fish or just a piece of steak? Probably not.
I
You
would
know what I
love
mean?
to just go full primal and like live off the land. Like, of course that's difficult, but like I think going to I hate going to the grocery store so much. One, because it's expensive shit.
Oh, I
But
fucking
two,
yeah.
because like you never feel like you're winning. Like everything you get, you're like, there's something bad about this, and if there's not
Yeah.
anything bad about it, you have to spend a lot of time figuring out what to get in the store and what to eat it with to make sure you're eating healthy. And it's like, well, what if you don't have that time or energy or whatever?
I mean, you saw yesterday we got 7 things and it came out to $90.
$90.
And we got one
got one
like
actual,
main
yeah,
thing.
food.
Everything else was side substance, really.
Yeah.
And it's it doesn't work anymore, especially for people with families, dude. I can't imagine going into a grocery store right now with 3 kids, 2 kids, even 1, dude, and paying that grocery bill. I was talking to Mike about it with his family, and I was like joking, but I was like, your grocery bill must be through the roof. You
Yeah.
got 3 kids, you got blah blah. They're all going through puberty, growing a lot, and it's like, yeah, that grocery bill's $1,000
Dude, that's
every time.
crazy.
Every 2 weeks we go shopping, that bill's $1,000. Or every month we go shopping, it's like
That's unbelievable.
it's like $1,500. I'm like,
But
wait,
obviously, like right when I was younger, like I don't remember really what my mom was paying for a family. of
Why would they
5.
tell you?
Yeah, but
It's not a metric.
I think I remember seeing maybe like 250 on the screen,
Me too.
300 max.
me too. Every
and
time.
now, like I'm just hoping by myself I don't get to 250.
yeah.
And it's like a family of 5 now. So like if it's 250 back then, and now it's 150 a person for a week, you have a 5-person family. $500 to $1,000 every 2 weeks is insane to live on food.
You can't.
That's
And
rent.
It's designed to fail. Everything, the system is designed to fail because I don't know if you saw recently, but farmers now actually aren't. It is crazy. Farmers aren't allowed to reuse seeds. Think about that for a second. Farmers, who the whole idea of farming is you grow something, you grab the product, it produces seeds, you then reuse it, and it's a cycle. And that's how you grow your farm. And that's how you grow your supply.
Yeah.
The reason they stopped doing that now is because they're choking the farmers to have to buy the seeds from specific companies or buy the seeds from China or buy the seeds from somewhere and then use them.
It's crazy.
Same thing with like unpasteurized milk. It's actually called Keefler in Europe and a lot of other countries. It's legal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, so don't shoot me, but it's basically the rawest form of milk you can have. So we have whole milk here. That is like past whole milk. It's more lactose than basically anything. But the idea of that is if you drank that your whole life, you would never become lactose intolerant because you had a tolerance for the most lactate thing. Where in this sake, I told you, when I was 18, I got told, you might be lactose. So immediately when I was 18, I stopped fucking drinking whole milk. I switched to almond milk. And then now I feel like, honestly, I'm more worse off in my life because I feel like I'm more lactose than ever from drinking the almond milk for so long.
Dude, there was like I think it was the whole, and like you could shift it into the politics of things. And like when, we were just listening to them talk about censorship. Like I think it all happened in the same time span, and there's the same thing with food. And that same thing happened with me. It was like I was having a bunch of eating issues, and I thought it was a gluten issue. I thought it was all these things, so I just stopped. I stopped anything that could affect my stomach, which was milk.
Because that's what you're conditioned to taught. That you're taught that if your stomach hurts, the first thing that it's got to be dairy.
Yeah,
it's got to be dairy. Okay, that's step one. It's dairy. It's not dairy. We'll say gluten.
Yeah,
we'll say gluten. No. This is why are they never? It's never sugar.
Yeah.
It's never super saturated carbs. It's never that. They never ask you how much bread you eat, how much pasta you eat. They never. It's. I feel like when I go to the doctor, it's question based. It's never like lifestyle based, which I guess is like life coaches and why you pay more for those guys and why they're so good at what they do.
Yeah.
Like
that's what a doctor should be.
That's my whole point. But that's the system saying like a doctor's designed to give medication to a patient. A patient, crazy. Like I said, client, they literally are the same thing at the end for a reason. Things are not worded for any other thing but a reason. Yeah. It's either named after someone. That's the only thing. So if someone finds it or whatever, they're like, okay, I'm naming this the Jared Finn Foundation. Or if it's going in turn with a word they used. And then I think a patient lost is a client lost. That's the terminology that big business use for hospitals and stuff like that. And it's disgusting. It really is.
That's pretty bad.
I've heard that multiple times. I heard it from people in the industry, outside the industry, and talking to people like Coach Orlando really gives me comfort that, he really has a gauge of what needs to be done, what not needs to be done, saying, eat this when, don't do this. Wow. Like he actually did the research for years, case studies, talked to multiple doctors and people in athletics.
As long as there's always people who are willing to tell the truth and do the research, like we're going to be all right. But it's just becoming more and more like you have to make sure you listen to the right people.
Yeah. And I think the research part of it's huge.
It's huge. And honestly, that's what I was going to say about almond milk is like, so I just cut out lactose totally. And I was like, well, if I'm going to drink milk, I'm going to drink almond milk. Everyone's saying almond milk's the most healthy choice.
You're going to
I drank almond milk for the next like 5-6 years. And I still would. Like I would probably buy almond milk for milk now, but I did research recently on this because I was like, why am I buying almond milk? I don't know what that is. Because now you go into the store, there's almond milk, there's oat milk, there's regular milk, there's all these different regular milks.
Right.
Then there's coconut milk, there's almond or what's the other one?
Hello, I thought cows make milk. I didn't know we can get milk from fucking nuts.
Literally,
it's just a concept that doesn't make sense.
So I started looking it up and I was like there are good reasons like to drink those liquids, but not me. Like if
not you.
Yeah.
Like just because it's good for this people, not good for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's the advertising of food right now is like the light fat diet drinking. Like it's healthy for you guys. Like no, it's not.
And that's
You
what
know
it
what I mean?
exactly was. It was like almond milk is good for people like looking to reduce their weight and like watch their fat intake.
Oh my God.
Or oat milk is good for like, nutrients and this
right.
if you're trying to do it. It was like every single one was like
Go for a fucking run.
a different, yeah. In the end, it was
For
like,
real.
oh, these are like the advertisement of these are not like, this is the healthier option. This is like
the only option.
the only option,
Yeah.
and it'll make you not have to run. It won't make
Make
you
you
have to
weak.
be a healthy person. Like you could just
Yeah.
drink the milk; it'll be better than the milk you've had your whole life. Like, that's the whole feeling I got from it.
Right.
And now I don't feel that way at all. I'm like, oh, that's just a product that might benefit me, but I have to do the research to see
Exactly,
if that's
bro.
the case.
I get more heartburn now than I did when I was 18. It's like the problem got worse.
Yeah.
I told them I was lactose intolerant. They told me to stop drinking milk. Now, God forbid I have cheese, or God forbid I sneak it in with like ice cream or some meal.
Yeah.
It is a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
It is, and maybe because I'm 24 and not 18
Nah,
anymore.
yeah, but-
also that's a really, I'm an active kid. I work out all the time. I mix
Yeah.
up what I do. I'm not doing one thing every day. And the fact that if I eat a piece of cheese in this country, my chest feels like it's going to blow up. And when I do it in Italy, I ate a whole entire pizza with buffalo cheese, which is like the thickest form of mozzarella, and nothing. I felt amazing, bro. No heartburn. My heart wasn't pumping. I wasn't sweating. Sweating now because it's humid, but that's fine. But I think it really all started I could be wrong about this, but you really see that shift when the Industrial Revolution started happening. This is a known fact. The biggest cigarette companies are now the food companies. And that's really what it is.
Yeah.
The tobacco industry turned into Kellogg's. And you have 1 to 2 to 3 companies that are, it's really, I think, alcohol, like the big alcohol, the big pharma, the cigarette, and the food are just like this. And they all coercively help each other.
Yeah.
Where everything kind of does the same thing. Like, why do I get the same? This is crazy, but you'll have the same side effects on from like a cigarette as you do for Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, wait, you must be kidding, right? And it's like, no, there actually is the same long-term adverse effects from
Right.
both of those. From eating sugary shit all day and smoking all day. It's like,
I don't get like the human, like it's just evil, right? Like you just want to be evil. If you're somebody running this company, if you're somebody supporting these companies,
you just want
like,
money.
You just want money. So like, what are you here for?
But it's almost
Get
like,
out. Like,
right. And I think, and I kind of caught myself because I was going to say, if you could do that and make money, why not just make a healthy alternative?
Right. Yeah, that's like,
And then just do what you're doing and have that monopoly control, but in
Yeah.
a good environment. And then you'll have good ethical, and like
Right.
everyone will be giving back. Community will be like, oh my God, Kellogg's is the best company in the world.
Yeah.
No, Kellogg's is giving children ADHD in America right
Yeah.
now, and it's not talked about enough.
imagine how awesome Kellogg's would be. And I would even say Kellogg's is awesome if they
Any
totally
cereal, bro.
switched and were like, we understand what we're doing wrong. We're going to try and change the ingredients to this, do this, this, this. If they did that, I'd be like, this is the best company that's ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
They totally, like, they've been doing something for years, but they finally have now learned. But it's
Right.
clear that they're just doing it out of intention.
Exactly. And I'm honestly, dude, the fact that we're here, I like we're able to say this now because I'm like done holding back with this shit. Like, if you're a parent and you want to eat, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak on any experience. But from what I've seen and talked to other parents about, if you want to raise your kid and make it easier for yourself, give them fruits and vegetables in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make it hard for yourself, give them Lucky Charms in the morning.
Yeah.
You will see the difference in that whole entire day. I swear to God, from that one choice, and that choice leads to the next one. So now the kid has Lucky Charms, and now instead of for lunch, a salad, the kid's thinking about, oh my God, that donut looks so good.
Yeah, yeah.
That sugar itch hitting all day. I've been there. We all
Yeah,
have. We all
yeah.
get it. And I think there's a huge difference too. They said don't get me wrong, have the donut. It's not going to kill you. But when you're having the donut before breakfast and then eating breakfast, that heightens a lot more of the traits of the sugar versus having the breakfast and then God forbid you have a donut after the breakfast. It is a complete significant mental switch because now the eggs are hitting your stomach first, not the donut. So you're
Yeah.
at least getting that actual energy you need and then just kind of topping it with the sugar. You're not throwing the donut into the hot oven first.
Yeah.
And there it actually has been proven. I gotta get the lady's name, but I just watched a video the other day, and she was showing the difference of just that. So like saying, you can have sugar, but if you're gonna eat sugar, at least eat first. Like if you're really that hungry in the morning, don't eat a fucking Cinnabon.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm not good with eating breakfast, and honestly, that is
Donut
probably
yesterday you
the
had for breakfast.
this morning I had a donut.
Oh yeah, this morning, yeah. You said
and
your
that was
answer.
it.
I was like,
But it's like, I don't know what I was gonna say.
it's just kind of weird because I feel like it's interesting, right? Because we say that now, but then when I'm in Italy, that's breakfast. So like these people
Oh yeah,
have that. Yeah, hit that.
It's so easy. Like grabbing that donut this morning, and eating it. Like it's so easy to
Right.
do, and that's the whole thing. Like right, it's hard. At least to somebody else, it'd be like you're an idiot. But
Mm-hmm.
to me, I'm like it's hard to go get eggs from the store, scramble them up, and make them in the morning
It's
and
a lot.
enjoy them. I don't even like eggs in the first place. So
no,
like
they're disgusting.
for me to do that is a lot. So I'm like, can I just eat this donut and get the same sustenance? Yeah. It's not going to be as good for you though. And that's when I honestly switched my breakfast to more like smoothie based shit because I just have
That's
trouble eating in the
huge.
morning. And
That's
the smoothie
awesome.
you could get anything you want from it.
Everything.
Anything you want to have for that day, you could just throw in there and
Mm-hmm.
and then you could supplement too, which is like can't really do that with fucking eggs. What are you going to put like creatine, this, that?
Nah, you can add shit to eggs. I've seen like fucking
Yeah, you definitely
sausage, peppers. You can.
I guess
Put
that's
some
just so
proteins.
unappetizing. Breakfast is so unappetizing to me.
It's so limited, bro. Every time I go out to lunch or dinner, I get a menu that is about this long, or it's 3
Yeah.
pages long. Every time I go out to breakfast, it's, sir, do you want everything we have has eggs? So it's either you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
eggs,
yeah.
and if you don't want eggs, you fall into the category of the shit. So
Yeah,
it's,
the waffles
if you don't
with
eat
ice
eggs,
cream.
you want sugar covered waffles, you want pancakes, you want actually no, and you really start to think like, okay, what can I actually get without eggs for breakfast?
Yeah,
It's just a
not
design
much.
thing, and then you think, where does that come from? And you look back, chickens lay eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Chickens also eat shit, and most of the eggs we eat are chicken shit.
Yeah.
Not actually. That's like
No, yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
But in reality, that's kind of what you're eating is what the chickens eat. So
Yeah.
they realized, I feel like, that you could make money on this and just mass produce it. So kind of like the advertising. That takes the food industry into advertising eggs for breakfast, getting influencers and celebrities back in the day, make a hearty breakfast, 2 eggs and a piece of bacon, get
Yeah.
your day going. Doctors recommending diets. The food pyramid is a joke.
Yeah.
The food pyramid we learned when we were little is a joke, bro. It is a literal joke. And we never were taught the true food pyramid. And I think the pyramid growing up, it really puts weight on like wheats, and it puts weight on like, it puts a lot, I don't know the exact ratio of the triangle with it, but it put a lot more weight on like basically super saturated carbs and like wheat, and then like little weights on these things.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of steak being bad now
Yeah.
for your heart health. In reality, the red meat is the best for your heart health.
Yeah.
Red meat, your blood's red. It helps your blood flow better. Just think like that. It's very simple.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like
very, very
the
simple.
meat is the thing. Everybody thinks fucking red meat. Everyone thinks red meat increases your cholesterol and does all these bad
Oh
things
my
to your
God.
heart. It is literally proven that that's not the case.
It's the opposite.
it's the total opposite.
And you know what they're switching to?
And they're like, oh, don't eat a lot of meat. It's like, no, what are you talking?
No. They go to chicken. They'll,
Yeah,
they, they'll stop eating they'll stop eating
Yeah, chicken's
T-bone
better
steaks
for
and
you.
they'll go eat chicken. What's like I just said, chickens eat shit.
Yeah.
Chickens don't eat good food, bro. They pick on shit. And they eat their own shit.
Isn't there's a crazy stat with chickens where there's like a crazy amount of chickens in the U.S. versus the amount of humans.
Oh yeah, and then I
forget what the
saw
number is,
someone
but-
ran a simulator on it. They were like, "Would we win?" I'm like, "Dude, we've been winning." I was gonna say we don't need a fucking. That shit is hilarious.
I saw a post yesterday. It was like, would you rather have to fight a chicken every time you get in the car or fight a lion once a year? And everybody was like, chicken. And the one girl was like, lion. They were like, you think you could take down a lion? She was like, yeah, I'd try. They were like, shut up.
A chicken in the car every day would absolutely drive me insane.
Yeah, it sucked.
I might have to just prep for the lion, honestly. I was
Stop
gonna say-
driving, maybe.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say actually I had one of these. That's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, my girl's brother. I told you. I don't know if I mentioned. He has 2 ducks, and the ducks lay eggs.
Yeah.
So I go to his house and he
eatable
has.
eggs?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bro. But I didn't know how this process works. You're taught like you can't leave eggs out; they go bad. when
You
a duck
have to leave eggs out.
when a duck
Yeah.
lays an egg, you have to leave it in a certain temperature, room temperature usually,
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
Before it's edible.
You know, it's the same thing with chickens, but it's just not the case anymore because we've
Just sped up the
we
process.
do it
so
a different
much.
way now, so you have to refrigerate them. But people who have fresh chickens, you can't refrigerate them.
Oh my god.
It's wild. I learned that. in
See, I thought it
college.
was just for ducks, and
Yeah.
now it's like, holy shit, phone's gone. But no, I tried to do the eggs are a different color.
Yeah.
The eggs are a lot more like orangey. They're not like yellow. The eggs are
It's like dark. Bro.
yeah, the eggs are fluffy, and food is the best energy. Whether you're getting people food, whether you're eating food, the experience with food, conversations. I honestly love food, but when you're eating one of those eggs, there is a night and day difference when you're eating a regular
Yeah.
egg. It's fluffy, dude.
Yeah.
It's like you could like slice into the egg.
Yeah.
It doesn't just like mash apart into pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
whole-
It's like an actual food. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, the eggs these days are starting to feel more like powdered eggs, even though they're still in a shell.
They're all shit, dude. They're all shit. I was curious. I know did you have any food at the event? Was there any food and stuff like that?
They had some stuff. I think at the part I didn't go to, they had more like events for food and stuff, but
You gotta pay for
I didn't
that.
I didn't see any food. There was like a lounge area.
I saw some
of food.
videos. They're dishing out lobster tails and shit, and I was like,
Yeah, I didn't see
"Where
none of
is
that."
that? We need to go there."
Did not see none of that.
Yeah, shout out Flibs 2024. My boy Finn was there this weekend. Went really well.
I saw, dude. I don't think I even showed you the videos of the super yachts. The back. Oh, I did yesterday.
You did, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Holy fuck.
Unbelievable. So it was crazy going from the convention center with all those boats, yachts that are bigger than any boat I've ever really like stood next to. And then you go to Super Yacht Village, and I didn't even know I was like walking around the village and I like saw these super yachts, like 250-foot boats in the water, and I was like, oh, those look crazy. And I started taking pictures of them, and then I saw there was like a dock, and I like walked over to it,
Excuse me.
and then sure enough, like they had everything set up on the dock. There was like 20 yachts lined up, just as big as the ones I were just looking at. I was like, oh my god, like this is a common thing. Like
Every other.
so I didn't even know if I could walk down there. I walked down there, and I'm just looking left and right, and like genuinely bigger than this whole apartment, just the entrance to the boat, the back of the boat. And it's like, what the hell is
Disgusting,
that?
bro. Disgusting. Beside the boats, I know that's like a big one. I guess, what was something that really stood out to you at Flibs besides all that, noise with the yachts and stuff like that? Something you truly can just say you took away from that experience.
Probably like just the differences in like the community that you're in. Like that community at Flibs is, which is interesting because they have a crowd. They said they have a crowd of 100,000 people.
Holy
like
shit.
over the weekend, and that's a lot of people. So to me, you're getting basically all walks of life. And now I didn't go to all parts of the show, so I'm sure I would have seen more diverse people in it. But the parts I went to, there's people like I wouldn't even know how to talk to because they're just so luxurious, rich. All they really
like a different
know
demeanor,
is
more
those
so.
boats and those houses and these
Interesting.
people and these
Interesting.
suits and these dresses and these earrings and jewelry. I'm like debating whether I should put on my Whoop bracelet that's not charged this morning. Like,
I got some sleep this morning.
yeah.
Guys, like, what
It's
are
like
you fucking-
I was just sitting there for a while sometimes,
like humbling more so.
and it was very not. I don't even know
Not
if it was
even
like
in
a
that
humbling
sense?
experience, but it was just like, wow, I'm nothing like these people.
That's
And
crazy.
It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily like I wanted to be like them, and it wasn't necessarily like I didn't want to be like them. It was like I am not these people.
Just like an
And-
awareness to like the energy around
yeah,
you.
and this is like just some normal thing that's happening around here, kind of thing. And it was like, Florida's a different energy than New York, but that was like a big like, damn, like I have to, especially in business wise, it's like I have to think about these things differently because even though I might be able to communicate and relate with anybody in the world to do business and to talk in detail and to like really be passionate about a conversation with someone, you got to relate on some things that I did not relate on anything.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a yacht the size of a house. It's definitely hard.
That's the first step, or even
like-
seen one.
like
Like that
knowing,
was genuinely the first day that I've seen something like that up close. It's rare for me to walk into a house and somebody have a hot tub. if I walk into the house, they're like, yeah, we got a hot tub on our back. I'm like, immediately in my head, I'm like, you got money, you're
Yeah,
wealthy,
you're loaded.
and like that's awesome.
Shout out Mike's new hot tub.
The first boat I walked onto the dock, looked left, bigger jacuzzi than I've ever seen on the back of the boat.
one with the glass you showed me? Holy
Infinity
fuck.
jacuzzi. I'm like,
Infinity jacuzzi.
I'm like,
Infinity jacuzzi.
what
I can't
is
even say it.
it? So like that's the first time ever seeing something like that, and I'm amazed by houses that are half the size of the boat. I'm like, okay, there's a world that I've never even thought of,
That never even.
never even could
Like, just-
can't fathom, and I might never.
That fuck you. No, you will.
But even if I had billions
money,
of dollars
that-
and I had
yeah,
that boat,
okay,
I'm never
okay.
gonna feel like those people have felt.
I like that.
And yeah, I mean, hopefully you don't turn into that rich, like, ego asshole guy. I think, somebody, it starts with somebody, like somebody turns into that person from like going from not as rich to rich. But if you just keep yourself, you could have those things. And like, I don't know. Basically what I was thinking is like, if I were to be rich and in this community, I wouldn't change a single thing about myself. And I would stand out like stick
sore
out like a
thumb.
sore thumb. Like nobody,
Those are the
everyone would be like,
best.
who the fuck is that guy?
Like, where's his white shirt and
Yeah,
white
yeah,
pants?
exactly. Like
shut
that,
up.
no way that guy owns a boat.
No, yeah, I'm wearing my SBs. I'm wearing my jeans
Yeah.
ripped. What do you want?
Yeah,
Like, leave me
exactly.
alone.
Yeah,
I think that's huge, dude, because we were just saying that yesterday. It's kind of like if we go into this, right, with this business and we say, yo, we want a yacht, and all we want is a yacht, and we get a boat one day, we're going to have it, and that's all we're going to have, and we'll,
Yeah.
whatever. But then if we're just like, we want to, shoot for this goal, the yacht will just come. The boat will just come along while chasing that goal, and you
Yeah.
won't even realize it, and it's going to be more so in the background. And I think that really allows you to not fall into the lifestyles because there's no materialism behind it. It's not like
yeah. You're just doing the thing you set out to do, which is nothing to do with that boat, nothing to do with those wealthy
like I don't
people.
like I'm not going to look at anyone here today and say I want a yacht. That's my goal. No,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. If that's your only goal, awesome. You want a yacht? That's really what you want your whole life.
Yeah.
You want to go through your whole life, and that's all you want is one single boat.
Yeah,
That's a joke. That's laughable.
yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You didn't donate money. You didn't
Yeah.
help your kids. You missed all your kids' fucking sports games growing
Yeah.
up just for a boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really puts a lot in perspective.
Now, and honestly, it goes right into like what Dana White was saying yesterday on that video. Like, yeah, money can buy you those fun experiences. Like, yeah, want that yacht, but want the yacht so that you can take your family on it and make experiences
Yes,
that
bro.
nobody in the world has ever had.
Yes, bro. Like a millionaire who works every single hour of every single year is not financially free.
No.
Someone who makes $100K a year and doesn't work an hour of the year is financially free.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't matter how much you're making. It matters about how much you're making with how much time you're putting in. That's like the biggest equation that's overlooked in finance. We didn't talk about it in business school. We only talked about hour-based wages. You work this many hours, you make this much money. And then we barely got into quantitative wages with
Yeah.
if you sell this many products, you make this many money. And even just that switch is such a jump, right? Like now in my life where if I have to pay a bill or do something, it's not a matter of, oh my God, I can't because I have to work for 40 hours a week. It's, oh my God, I can't pay my bill in 3 days. Let me fucking try to get 300 people in.
Yeah.
Let me try to get 30 clients in these next 3 days. Let me try to really step on the gas and get this done in 2 days so I can get paid. Like,
It's a different goal, and it's like a personal development goal in the end. Like,
no reliancy. Like, I'm not
you have no
relying on
reliance-
the
you're
time
just
metric.
relying on yourself to just figure shit out.
It's just
And,
problem
like,
solving.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Like we know that.
Clearly.
And that literally is I always say like I hate the easy way out of things, and it's like the big reason I couldn't work a 9 to 5 40-hour week job was because like it was just like it was like it didn't feel like I couldn't, like I just couldn't. It felt like I wasn't personally developing in a 9 to 5 40-hour week because of what you just said. Like the idea that everything else is based on that.
Because you're developing under another person's scope. You're not developing under your own scope. So if you're in it or you're not, that's fine. If you're happy, I don't care. But you really can't, nobody can look at me and really tell me that their self-development is coming from their boss gauging when they deserve a promotion. No. Self-development is internal, And it's you having realizations about yourself that I'm growing. I'm becoming more emotionally aware to situations around me. I am reacting better to things I used to react a lot to. And in turn, you will spread better energy. You will make more money. You will have more passion. And you will just be a better person on the inside and out.
Yeah.
If you're in a job that you like, that's fine. But if you hate your job and you're banking on a promotion, you're only hurting yourself, you're hurting your clients, you're hurting the people around you at work, you're hurting your family, and everybody like that. Because it's not true to yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're going off this image just because 10K promotion, 20K promotion.
Yeah.
Like, we're 23, 24, 25 now.
Yeah.
A lot of us are at the point where we have the experience. They're starting to get those promotions. People are going from 80 to 100K. People are finally getting the 6-figure salary that they've been talking about for the last 5-10 years. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, well,
You have 600K. It's not about how quick you make. It's about
Yeah.
maintaining what you do with it. Are you just going to make 100K every year and just not ever do anything?
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's not. I don't care
Yeah.
about that raise. I don't care. Yeah, I'm happy for you. But like, if you're going to sit here and just tell me every 2 years you got a raise and nothing in between,
Yeah.
why the fuck would I care?
Dude, that's like a pretty good description of like what I went through at work, because it was like I was making a lot of money, and like it was, so I worked there I was making $80,000 a year the first time I stepped in the door of Onsemi,
Unreal.
and that felt great, right? And then over the next 2 years, so just like we were saying, like, I think being a business owner is personal development. I think living is personal development. So if you have a 9-to-5 40-hour week, you have to personally develop either at that job, which is not allowing you to personally develop really, because
Most
you
of
have
the
to
time.
listen most of the time, because
You
you're
can,
listening to somebody
in some
else.
cases, you
of course.
can. Yeah.
Which is kind of my example. Is I did, like, I took that opportunity to grow within the work I was doing
Learning
and
about more.
outside.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, like, if you struggle, and even my mother said this, like, if you struggle at work trying to build yourself and personally develop, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, then just take the time outside of work and use that to personally develop, get better, find your hobbies, do this, be happy. To me, that didn't make any sense, because I was reducing the time of personal development by half. So now half of my day was decreasing how I felt about myself and who I was, and the other half was, one, trying to get back to the level I was originally
Almost like
at
digging yourself
after
up.
work,
Yeah.
and then trying to build on top of that. And that's impossible. To me, it was impossible to me. So it was like,
I like that a lot, dude. What you
and
just said that.
what it came down to was like, and I was very honest with my bosses, almost too honest. And like some of the last conversations I had with my boss were like, hey, and at that time when I quit, I was making $88,000. They had just given me a promotion after a year and a half of doing crazy work for them. And I was very grateful of that. And I said, thank you. It was very much like, that means a lot. It goes a long way for the work I've been doing. I have to say though, like, so they give that a couple months into the year based on the last year. So just from those 3-4 months when I got the raise, I felt like, and I did, and I could prove this by the work I did there. I changed how things worked at the facility. A 23-year-old kid at the time.
A lot more than 8K.
A lot. Well, and the 8K was from the year that I didn't even work at that site at East Fishkill.
Oh my.
And that's what I said. I said, look, I appreciate that 8K, but that 8K was me in East Fishkill in a cubicle where I was miserable. I didn't feel like I was helping anyone. I didn't have any purpose. I wasn't doing much.
Right.
I came here because I wanted to do 10 times more work, and now I am, and I did, and I proved that to you. And I was sure to like ask those questions, like, do you believe I proved that and did that? They loved me. They said, yes, you're one of the best workers we have, blah, 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 this and that. I said, okay, then I feel like I need at least $100,000 here if we're going to talk about like you said before, you're kind of basing things on wage. So to me, it was like, if I'm going to have purpose here and feel like I'm developing as a person, you need to pay me $100,000. That was just kind of what I picked, because I felt like that is how I fit into the world.
Especially in the
and what
industry you're in, that's a very not a far ask.
Yeah,
That's
not a far ask,
bare
because the
minimum.
person in the desk next to me is making $150,000 a year,
And doing probably half the work.
and they do literally a quarter of the work. I'm telling them I'm telling a 40-year-old how to use a technology that I know how to use, and I'm making half the amount of salary as you. That's not right. And I'm okay with seniority, but if I go into my boss and I explain to you exactly this issue, why do you have an issue giving me $10,000 more dollars?
Right.
When you're spending millions and millions on shit that doesn't matter at all.
I think it's because you initiated it. I think usually that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like you were saying, I'm going to self-develop into this, and that's the whole point of a job. Is that's no good because they want you to develop under their manager's scope.
Exactly.
And if
yeah.
you're up to that gauge yet,
Yeah.
So he's like, wait, I didn't really think about this. This was kind of like 2 years out in my mind.
Yeah, right.
Why are we talking about this now?
That's exactly what he said. He said, I said, what would it take for me to get there? He was like, to be honest, and I think he even said, I don't really remember, but he might have even said, like, I think you deserve that, but under how we run things, you can't even be elected for a promotion until after a year review.
Yeah, right.
So those 3-4 months that I was looking for more money because of how much I proved myself, because of how much I developed for that company specifically within myself, they were like, well, we have to wait for the year review to come through to even see if you deserve that raise for the last 4 months.
That's bullshit.
And I'm like, I literally said, I was like, so I would have to wait a year working my ass off doing what I'm doing just for you to even have the ability to see that and say something about it.
That's ridiculous.
And he confirmed that, right? And like, I just wasn't okay with that at all. And in learning how to develop for the company and how to build on semi systems better and more advanced and lead them to a place that makes manufacturing easier for those people on the floor, I developed as a person. I developed in technology and my skills, and as a person, and what it meant to manage, what it meant to have bad managers, good everything.
You know the process from the front to the back.
So that's when it was the decision of like what you were just saying before. It's like, am I just going to sit here and wait the year for the money that I deserve for my purpose, or am I going to go build it on my own and fucking go get it?
Crazy, because by then you should be getting 150K.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm not going to sit in this loop for my whole life.
Bro.
And that is what 90% of people do.
Listen, I'll say this to the audience right now. If you do not like what you're doing, leave your job. You could die any single day of the week. We've both seen it. And you just need to be yourself anywhere you go. Try new things. Have fun. Fuck up. Make mistakes. I think that's the biggest lesson. I went through probably 3 to 4 jobs after college in 3 to 4 different focuses industries. I graduated college, went to my finance job down in John Hancock. Then I was doing valet management for a little bit. Went to EV, did a little bit of that, jumped back into valet. None of it worked.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what I was doing. None of it was for me. And maybe I could have sat there and tried 20 other different industries or fields. No, it wasn't that. I asked myself over and over again, is it what I'm doing? No. It's the direction I'm going. I see myself with a bigger purpose. It's bigger than me. There's a lot more people involved. I will not listen to a manager who was once a stranger before the interview.
Yeah.
And him to gauge my life on him knowing me off of 2 interviews.
Yeah.
You know? He doesn't know you. Your boss doesn't know you. You know you best. And so if you know you best and if you're getting anxious to go to work,
Right.
literally cut it.
Yeah.
If you're making 15 to 20 an hour, reality check. You could do that at fucking 80 different places.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like I think that's the biggest thing is because we're so tuned into like your major, this, and you go to get another job and you're like, oh, I don't have experience.
Yeah.
Like I don't have this or I don't have that. And is it that? Or is it you fucking walk into that place, you're like, I know I don't have experience, but I'll be the best fucking worker you have with the most passion because I know I'm trying to develop into a person I've never been before.
Exactly.
It's little things like when we talk to these companies, like we've done websites for many different types of companies, but now getting into the yacht luxury space, this is a niche market where we're really trying to familiarize the language of we may not have done something yet in the yacht industry, but what we can do in other industries is only going to exceed you guys so much more because now we see how easy it is for you guys.
Yeah, right.
Because most of the yachting companies have really good photos, which is something we've been struggling with because these people for websites don't really send us the best content.
Yeah.
So now if we're in a field where the content is just not even a problem anymore, how far can we go at those?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm so excited, honestly.
It's like, it's like, let us get give us this opportunity so we can prove ourselves. Like, that's really the
Right.
whole idea.
Like, shout out all the clients we've had, all the clients we've done work for. You guys have been amazing. We're very happy for how far we've come with you guys, and you definitely have helped like us build a gauge for the direction we're trying to go, and just being patient with us through the process. We really it really does show us like where we need to be. And
Yeah,
like,
the more
types
we
of
learn from our
places-
current clients and how we get into other industries and understand their wants and needs, the better we could help the ones we already have. So like,
especially if it's like, pet sitting, bakers, restaurants. We go into detail, we go into yachts,
Yeah.
bars. I can't even think. It's pretty much every company you could think of that has a domain or
Yeah.
needs a domain.
yeah.
The bowling alley would be huge. That one I'm
Bowling
hyped
alley
about.
would
Breakpoint, we're coming soon. Don't worry.
Dude, what you said before about like just leave work, I saw a video yesterday of Dana White as well. That was like, she's like, look, if you wake up in the morning and you can really just can't roll out of bed to get to work, you don't want to do that every day of your life. He's like, then leave. And he's like, and I don't even know if the interview said this, but I was thinking it. But his whole message was like, just leave, just walk out. Like they said, like, well, how do you do that? And he was like, well, just walk out. And like, what would the average person say?
You
I
lose your
can't.
401k.
Right, I don't
lose
have.
my
I have
fucking-
bills I have to pay. Most people have families. Like we're 24, we don't have to like really like worry about that shit right now. But how do you walk out of a job when you have 2 kids and a wife and you've lived in New York your whole life? You really can't. But you can. It's just going to be hard as shit, and it's going to be
Right.
harder than it's ever been. And unfortunately, had you realized these things before you had a kid, before you made all these commitments, you could have been on a different path. But
That's not always the case.
it's just an unfortunate thing that you hadn't learned that earlier in your life.
Yeah, but I think they make it harder for themselves. Like, when you hate your job and you go home at 5 o'clock and fucking turn your brain off and watch TV for 7 hours, then go to bed and then wake up with anxiety and just
Yeah.
it's a repeat cycle. Instead, like we did when we got into it, we were coming home from work, and instead of sitting there anxious, we came home from work and started the company.
Right.
It wasn't like we just had the idea for the company and dropped our jobs and went boom. No, I instead of working 7 days a week, started working 5 days a week. Then I started working 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Then I started working just weekends. And now the slow shift starts to happen of I'm putting more time into my company.
Yeah.
And then eventually hits a point where, oh shit, now I don't have to work my job anymore.
Yeah.
Quit the job, you quit your job, and now this is just full machine now.
Yeah.
And it's operating.
Dude, even like a construction worker, say that has 2 kids and a wife at home, has worked there his whole life, making $100,000, even say, you kind of got to maintain that. But he's working 60 hours a week, right? If you quit your job, even if you extremely just quit walked out, you have $0 the next day, like you're not making any money anymore the next day, and you spent those 60 hours that you do every week
Oh my
hammering,
God.
shoveling, drilling, whatever the hell it is, and you put it into one thing. Whether
Literally
it's something you enjoy totally
yourself.
or not.
Literally just put it into
just
yourself.
like that time into yourself.
Which doesn't mean go sit down and relax. I hate when
No,
I hate when people say put time.
You
into
woke up
yourself
at 6
and it
a.m. to go work on a building. Wake up at 6 a.m. and go research something.
means- right.
Like
Go.
It's
wake up at
totally
6 a.m.,
different.
Go to the gym. Start your day like that.
Yeah.
Go get that out of the way. Go do everything else. And I think people just don't have an avenue. I think that's a really big problem with starting businesses, is especially nowadays with like the hyper successful nature on TikTok and Instagram and the like very toxic like masculinity things of like hyper succession posts.
Yeah.
Where every single post you see is something about making money becomes very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make it like that for anybody. It's really as simple as finding your avenue. Like you said, what do you like? I can tell you right now, I like to play spike ball, I like to play basketball, and I like to take my dog for a walk. So then let's put those 3 things into perspective. If I like to take my dog for a walk, I'll start walking all my neighbors' dogs. I'll then start my own fucking dog service company, walking dogs around all the areas, hiring other people to walk dogs for me.
Yeah.
Rover, boom. And then run into sports. You see people in our graduate class getting into it. You really like basketball. DJ's doing podcasts with basketball players now. It's not, I'm going to become an NBA player.
Right.
It's, no, I'm going to find where I can fit in this basketball world
Yeah.
to give my energy.
Yeah.
Anything could be
exactly
of sorts, dude. Like, and God forbid it's the lowest case, but like, I like soccer. It's like, okay, go ref soccer games every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to always be entrepreneurial
Right.
bit. That's why the TikTok and shit I'm saying, it doesn't need to always be like making a 6-figure, 7-figure
Yeah.
company, selling it, being a millionaire by 21. It's bullshit.
It's the step, man. It's the seed. You gotta have the seed. Like, if
gotta
you,
enjoy what you're doing, man.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy what you're
Gotta
doing.
fucking don't matter about the money. The money's gonna come, but you gotta just be passionate.
Honestly, the example you just gave was a very good example, because I think like the dog walking, for example, is like who's gonna quit their $100,000 job to go walk dogs because they like walking their dogs? Nobody. But that's the problem.
That's the fucking problem, is because it's a societal thing of like, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. When I was out of college and I was working as valet, it was at the time, it's demoralizing to tell people out of college I'm a valet driver, and it's a job that doesn't require a college degree. It's a job I've been doing throughout college, but that job is paying me more than any job that I've had with a college degree. I'm making 80 to 90 grand a year for valet.
Yeah.
And it's unheard of. People don't talk about that.
Yeah.
But me saying to people, oh, I work this, they go, oh,
Yeah.
But then I tell them I'm working at John Hancock, making $40K a year, barely paying my bills and barely getting by
In the middle of Boston.
in the middle of Boston. And everyone's like, holy shit, you made it out.
Yeah.
You fucking made it out. This perception of reality is so skewed. And now I'm at the point in my life where I'm getting, messages from people about, I see what you're doing. This is this, da da da. And I really don't think it's because we're selling websites. I think it's because they see the passion in what we're doing.
Yeah.
They see
I
the
agree.
consistency. They don't, half the people we talk to that we know we're friends with don't need or care about the websites.
Yeah.
They care about seeing us every single week when we post.
Yeah.
They're expecting a podcast to come. They're expecting a Reels to come.
Back to the seed reference, you don't see a plant for a good week or two in some plants, right? Like,
That's
people might not even know you
the
exist.
chills.
You might not even exist in a lot of people's minds. But those people who do know you exist help that seed grow. And then it becomes a plan. Now you sell websites to people.
I like what you
know?
said before, dude. There is no luck in the game. I think things, like you said, I don't know. My relationship with luck was very biased because I was born on St. Patrick's Day. So I've always been like, lucky,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
are lucky, I'm lucky, this. And I guess just for your sake of what you said before, what was it? You said luck doesn't...
Luck is when hard work meets opportunity. And I honestly think the example I gave earlier, I never really thought of is a good example, because everybody would look at winning the lottery as lucky, right? If I go win $1 million on a scratch off ticket, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But to me, you're not lucky until you combine that opportunity that you just got given with hard work to make that $1 million something.
Because what's the luck if you just go fucking blow $1 million
Exactly.
in a
You
day?
didn't deserve that. That's not lucky. It's not lucky to get $1 million, go buy a boat, and like ruin your life because you can't pay for it
No
anymore.
one's like, the money is not the luck part. It's what they do with it is the luck part.
right.
You know what I mean?
And it goes the other hand too. If you're working hard and shit, and you're working hard every day, and if you're not opening your eyes to these opportunities that are out there that you might not really think about, then that hard work means nothing. It's never going to get anywhere.
No.
And without those two things, you don't have anything. And with those two things, you have anything you want in the world.
Wow. Holy shit.
And that's luck.
Yo, I just
to
blew
me.
my head out of the fucking water. that
That's how I feel about it. And
was
like,
a good one.
I've always hated the word lucky, because what do you mean you're lucky?
Like Phil kind of referenced that, like what he said, or not Phil, Presto, excuse me. He was saying you never know who's in the room. So that idea of like, you never know who's in the room, it's kind of like if we didn't know, say we were in the room with 10 people, we didn't know that 8 other people in the room were billionaires.
yeah.
I'm not lucky.
Yeah.
I have to go figure that out.
Right.
I have to go like whatever. And then come the end of that meeting, I'll tell my best friends, I'll be like, hey, I actually just happened to be in a meeting with like 8 billionaires.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro, you're so lucky. Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen? I'm like, no, actually, I didn't know they were billionaires,
Yeah.
but then I just happened to talk to all these guys casually and then found out they were billionaires.
Because what if you were in that room, right? You went into that room. We just built this business for 3 years, busting our ass trying to get this.
Right.
We have all these business cards. You go into a room with 100 people. You run around the room giving everybody business cards, spreading your name out, and you leave. You're like, yo, I worked hard tonight. Somebody goes, yo, there was 3 billionaires in that place, and actually 2 of them were looking for website services. You're like, wow, I totally failed. I did not take the opportunity that would have just taken a little bit of work Like, I did the hard work. I have all the skills and knowledge and even the conversational skills to talk to that person. But it takes the opportunity, knowing the opportunity especially, to get to the end of that. We've been recording for an hour.
What?
We've been recording for an hour.
How can you see it?
It's on there.
Oh, nice. Dude, yeah, welcome to fucking Florida. Oh, my God. I think if we did a lapse of the sun, it would just be like dark light, dark light.
Yeah, it probably looks crazy on the video because it was sunny at some point. while we
Dude,
were
what's the
sitting there.
difference? I mean, I could visually see, but like, I guess things that aren't like known to a lot of people. Like, I guess talking to those people that are in New York that haven't left New York, or talking to people, like the main differences in Florida and New York, for me, obviously you could sit there and say like material things like food, beach, whatever. No, I'm saying things that are like, you know, more mental based. The lifestyle, it's a slower lifestyle. When you're in Miami, you're in Palm Beach, you're in Fort Lauderdale, there's a feeling kind of like you get of, not like you see your CEO millionaire in New York City, but it's like the same guy, same stats, but he's just relaxed. He's not like, he's just relaxed.
Yeah, he's not on the phone running around.
He's not sprinting through the city. He's not, no, the dude's walking in sandals.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Chilling. Which, shit, I'd be too if I was fucking down here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're down here, you just get this feeling. Well, it's pouring now, but
I think that reference to like what people say, your
I
location
honestly
is
think
huge.
this is a big part of it too. The rain is like, it could pour at any second, so take advantage of what you got right now.
Right. And it's not even known. Dude, what is this? Episode 12?
Yes. No. What? Yeah.
This will be episode 12.
It's 12. It's supposed to be 13.
Supposed to be
Alex.
13. We're getting Alex on. He's going to be here tomorrow, so we'll get him.
Yep. Podcast with Alex Jimenez tomorrow. The yacht guy.
That's going to be exciting. Also, like, comment, subscribe. Shout out all the subscribers. We love all the support from you guys. Check out the Spotify, Instagram, YouTube. Show some love on all of it. Also slipping in the TikTok for some funny clips. But we really do appreciate everything you guys do for us, because really without the support, man, I don't know where we'd be. I think when I wake up and I see that one like, or even just those messages like I mentioned before, dude, it keeps me going, bro. That imposter syndrome disappears. It makes me want to record another podcast again. It makes me want to go out and get sales for the business. Like, the love goes a long way. I think it helps me a lot too, seeing it's not like you need to hear it or you're looking for thank yous and you're looking for support, but when it comes, I feel like it means a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
Like sharing and liking and commenting, it's like, thanks, dude. Like,
Yeah.
actually, thank you.
For real.
Like,
I mean,
deep down.
I mean, I post stories a lot of our clips. I get 100 views. I think maybe three of you guys are following the page and like those things. Like, it's not something to like get mad over, but it's just like, you don't even know how much it would mean if you just like got out there, followed the page and liked some posts. It really takes us to the next step.
Because it's not about the little things go a long way. So it may not be about what you need. It may be about what someone you know needs. So you don't need a website, but your uncle does, or your cousin, or someone you actually knew. Now you could be an avenue for them through us, which is really like kind of the whole idea of networking, goal setting, and which hopefully we can use in the future through them.
Right.
My whole point of like knowing different people that know different things. Now I can gladly say I know people from the northest part of Maine, and I can touch every single state down to Florida, and I'll have a connection in every single state if something goes wrong. Gladly can say that.
And, you know, we could end it on this. I think it's uncomfortable to repost something, right? Like,
It is.
I think it is very odd when I don't
Evan.
do it. I don't do it, right? I don't see all the time people's stuff, and I'm like, oh, let me support that. I know, you know, nothing to do with it. But nowadays, because I know how much that little support goes, if I see Presto post a video, I try and repost it, whatever it is. And really what the website guys out here are trying to do is build a community that makes the uncomfortable comfortable.
Woo! Yes, sir. I like that. At Evan McParlin, you can post our videos on your story. Do not let your company at Morgan Stanley tell you what to do. You need other people to feel the freedom. Do not feel trapped. Do not let your companies and your bosses tell you what you can express. We're in a very interesting time period in the world right now where I feel like expression and freedom of speech is being very controlled and limited. And I think we need to be the breaking point in that. Our generation has been in the middle of everything, I feel like. And I think we got the shit from the older generations. We're getting the trail end of it. And we also have a lot of hope for the new generations with all this innovation in the future. But it's up to us to speak out on these problems. Speak up against the food. Speak up against the shit you're eating. Do not drink all the alcohol. Speak up against your problems. Go for what's passionate. Teach your kids that passion. Learn to grow tomatoes. Everything we talk about, it's so simple, and I think it's going to make a lot of people happier. And it doesn't need to be because you believe this, you're Republican, because you believe this, you're a Democrat, because you believe this, you're XYZ. No, you are a human being. We're all human beings, and human to human connection is really big for us at the website, guys, which is why and where we're very different than any other company. With us, you actually own the website, which no other software company is doing in the game right now. There's full stake of proof and everything like that. It really doesn't get much better.
Yes, sir.
I think this pod went great, dude. That was a nice little quick one. Little hour.
2024.
Shout out, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube, at the official website guys, on our social media, www.theofficialwebsiteguys.com. Check it out today for the best experience. My name is Matt. This is Jared. Episode 12. We out.
But I know that it can't rain forever. Need a change of weather. I stuff some Zion inside the paint, make the pain feel better. And I ain't never